WWE SmackDown Women's Championship, last woman standing. Becky Lynch defeated Charlotte in about 28 minutes, 39 seconds. I'll flat out say it. This is my match of the year in WWE. This is just one of the best women's matches I've ever seen, and some of the most fun I have ever had watching professional wrestling. Period. I loved it. They were innovative. They were different. They did something that nobody else on this show was doing. Latoya, instant reaction to this before we get into the blow-by-blow.
Jesus Christ, I love this match. I was screaming during this entire match, and I was surprised that they had a definitive winner in Becky. I thought it was going to be a draw. I thought they were going to do that draw bullshit, and they didn't. And Jesus Christ, Charlotte should never do a moonsault again. Just do like a front somersault plancha situation, because that worked to break a table. I know she has issues breaking tables like Randy Orton. So yeah.
Trina, your thoughts? This was in my match ratings, the first women's match, and I've only been doing them going back about 2 years, but I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was a virtually perfect match.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, the match before it, I thought was virtually a perfect wrestling match as well, just in terms of all the elements that you need to make a good wrestling match. But pure wrestling, this is, one of the best matches I've seen ever. To go back to the theme I brought up before, I maybe watched too much indie wrestling, but I saw too many elements that were very close to Sami Callihan and Pentagon Jr., because I've seen those two fight for 2 years now, probably 15 times. Even the chair spot, Sami does that pretty much most places he goes, where he throws all the chairs into the ring. But they took it to next level. I mean, they did things that I didn't expect. It did have a lot of indie elements to it, but this is new for everybody in the audience. This is new for the little kids who are at Evolution. This is new for a WWE audience. And so, for me, I didn't mind that I was seeing things that I'd seen before, because I'm thinking of all the new audience that this is bringing in. These are, nobody knew that women were doing these things in WWE. And so this is groundbreaking. This match is almost like Bonner Griffin for UFC.
Yeah, that's a great comparison.
So I hope it moves the needle that way, because that's what I felt like was happening. I mean, my heart was racing. I'd never seen anything like this in WWE before. It was brilliant by both women. Kudos to them for taking all of those crazy bumps and just destroying themselves for such an amazing match.
So the blow-by-blow, WWE edited in boos to Becky Lynch's promos. I think that was really stupid. It was an insult to intelligence, and typically they haven't done stuff like that with Becky. Since the first night they had her crap on the crowd and they were like not working, they abandoned that and they just let the crowd flow with it. Thought that was a bad touch. Charlotte does the Flair strut only to have Becky do it with an elbow drop as well. And then Charlotte falls victim to the old deadly drive where she gets body slammed off the top rope just like her dad. Becky busts out a kendo stick and wears out Charlotte with it. And we see this funny spot where they're one-upping each other, throwing chairs. This was such an underrated aspect, Latoya, of the feud between these two, because while they dislike each other right now, they're just still so competitive.
Yeah, I was actually surprised it didn't turn into like the homicide sea of chairs into the ring situation.
They ran out. They ran out, essentially.
Yeah. I guess because WB is classier than old school Ring of Honor, it wasn't going to happen. We're going to have the crowd like just throwing in chairs to help them out. But yeah, that's one-upsmanship. It was the entire story of the match, but that moment right there is like, this is the moment where you see, this is how childish this really is. Like, they're literally just throwing in chairs that they're not using just to show who's better.
I like that. That's some self-awareness in whoever worked as the agent in this match of how this feud went. And they were talking about best buddies and all that stuff, but they had that sense of competition that is what devolved their friendship into a rivalry. So I thought that was really, really cool. Charlotte back suplexed Becky into those, and that was nasty. Lynch got folded up a little bit. Lynch does this nice wrist clutch Uranagi. So Charlotte puts Becky Lynch on the table and goes for the moonsault, as you had mentioned, Latoya. I'm going to break down why the table doesn't break here. Charlotte is a lifelong gymnast. She is not taught to land on her face when she completes backflips. She rounds those sons of bitches out. That's why when she does them from the top rope to the outside, she has a little bit more room to go. Also, it works a lot better if you're landing vertically, essentially, to the outside of the ring, because you're usually falling onto two people. You all fall together. Inside the ring, if you're connecting with a moonsault, especially with one where you have somebody elevated about 3 feet up, you've got to get that flip done a little bit quicker. I don't know if it's muscle memory or what it is, but Charlotte still essentially lands vertical when she lands backflip, and that doesn't apply any weight to the table. However, jumping up to the top rope and doing a somersault senton through a goddamn table sure does. And that's what Charlotte did. Trina, I thought that was a cool pivot. They didn't immediately go back to it, but they worked right back there, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Right, exactly. I mean, when I saw what she was going to do and then it, didn't work, I thought, okay, that would have been amazing if that had happened. But I think it sort of brought some of the realism to this match. And that's why I keep going back to, Bonner Griffin, because I felt like they are just trying to one-up each other. And if that meant going off script or improving, then that's fine. And that's what it felt like, because, maybe that was a botch, whatever, but they just kept going, and then she did it again, and then it broke, and it was just amazing. I mean, everything they did in this match, they were both on the same page, step for step, even though it didn't look like they were. It was just a beautifully choreographed match that at times looked improv, but wasn't. I mean, so really, the quote-unquote the botch, I didn't mind, because them working through it and then finally getting it the second time, and then the way that the match ended. We had 2 broken tables in this match. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Kind of 3.
Yeah, well, they broke everything. Really, this is a match that you could tell a non-fan, you need to tune in and watch. These women are killing each other right now. And people might tune in even though they don't watch wrestling.
Becky recovers, slams Charlotte on the ladder. Flair tries to figure 8 Becky on the ladder and does it. Becky taps, but there's no tap outs here. So she takes a chair to Charlotte's knee. Lynch grabs the title and goes to leave, but is stopped by Charlotte. The announce table is cleared off, and a ladder is set up next to it. Becky hits an insane flying leg drop through the table. Charlotte gets up. Becky tries to bury Charlotte under the chairs, and Flair gets up at 9. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my Monday and Tuesday partner, Alex Palowski. He said that he didn't quite like the over-the-top nature of Charlotte zombieing her way back into this. I was fine with it because of the end result, but this match wasn't without at least one complaint for me too. And we'll get Alex to expand on that Monday or Tuesday, but the commentary saying Becky Lynch has a cult following. So if we're talking about sheer number of people, are we qualifying like Christianity as a cult now too? Because Becky's getting unanimously positive reactions, Latoya.
They're using it the way they would say Bray Wyatt has a cult following, which is a literal cult following. Yeah. Because like juvenile delinquent, Michael Cole doesn't know words, so cult following is actually a bad thing in this situation. No, like Josie and the Pussycats has a cult following, as it should, because it's a phenomenal movie. But Becky Lynch, no, she just has a following. It's literally a unanimous situation. It's not a rarity. It's literally everyone will cheer her and everyone will boo Charlotte unless Charlotte is going against other people. But just accept it. Don't fucking change the video packages for the boos where you can see everyone cheering Becky. Like when they zoomed out after the net comment in the video package for Edge, and you just see everyone going yes and Becky as you hear boo. That doesn't work, you guys. Just don't do it. Oh, pup.
Charlotte flattens Becky Lynch with a spear and sets up a table at ringside, but gets power bombed off the top rope, off the apron, through a table outside, and Becky wins. I loved almost everything about this match, with the exception of that one comment. Essentially, sometimes it was rough, and I like that. Sometimes fights are sloppy. This wasn't necessarily sloppy. It was great storytelling. It was great action. It was a main event caliber match that should have headlined this show. These two women deserved it. And probably the best WWE match I've seen all year. And instantly one of my favorite matches ever because of the lead up and the participants and the night and the crowd and all these variables, Trina, that factored into this and made it such a hot match. Give me some thoughts on this.
Oh yeah, I mean, because leading up to this, Becky has just been on fire on social media. Going to the Performance Center, doing that little speech. I mean, she's taken. I hope this is what's happened. That creative's just given her, free reign to just do what she wants with this character because she's doing a phenomenal job with it. I wasn't bothered too much by some of the commentary things and the the booing or whatever, because to me what they were actually doing in the ring or outside the ring, the wrestling was so amazing. I don't know if I've just learned to tune that stuff out. I miss some of that stuff sometimes because I'm just watching what I'm watching. But Becky has done such a great job with this, and I think they bring the best out of each other because they have known each other for so well. The chemistry's there, and so Becky's turned it up a notch, and so is Charlotte. And you're just seeing some of the best wrestling that I've ever seen in a really long time from two women. That's the best thing about this is that, I'm likening this to Pentagon and Sammy, who are two big stars on the indies. And I just kind of love that WWE gave us an indie style match with two women. This is Evolution. Like, you want Evolution? Like, this is a match that you would see at PWG, but it's Becky and Charlotte. Like, what's going on? And it was so good. It was so good. And I didn't mind like you said, some of the snafus or whatever, because it felt real at the time. These are two women that are just really trying to one up each other, whether they love each other or hate each other in real life. I don't care. They put on a hell of a match.